Good evening, baseball fans. I realize that you're like, "Who is this voice? I don't even recognize this voice."
Good
It's
evening,
Suzy.
Suzy.
I'm trying to be ASMR Suzy. This is ASMR bourbon and
Welcome
baseball.
to Bourbon and Baseball.
Um, I've been sick, you guys. That's why we haven't recorded in forever. I realized that yesterday I recorded a podcast and sounded totally normal. A couple hours ago, I totally sounded normal, but this is the voice you get for this, and I apologize for that. So, again, I'm Suzy. That's Kelsey. We're going live on YouTube right now because StreamYard hates us.
Yeah, not only does Suzy's body hate her, but StreamYard technology also generally hates us. So we're working with what we got. We're gonna make it happen.
It's gonna be delightful. So I'm gonna give you guys the rated R warning. Just know that if there are tiny ears listening, they probably shouldn't, because this will be a rated R podcast, mainly for the language. Definitely not other type of adult content, because that's not what we do here. Okay, that's not that kind.
No, go look at Lars Newbar in GQ Japan if you're
Oh,
looking to get into some of that.
yes,
I'll join
please.
you.
Yes, please. So like I said, rated R content over here. Cuss words, inappropriate adult humor, talking about all of the balls. Baseball teams, guys, get your minds out of the gutter. Jesus. And with that, we're gonna start. We have not recorded, Kelsey and I. Well, I take that back. We did. We tried to record on Sunday. Okay, this is part 2. We may or may not be like jinxed, because I feel like everything's against us, Kelsey. Everything's against us.
You know, we're just having to prove our resilience right now and prove that we're gonna work through it. It's fine. We can absolutely stand the test.
Okay, that's all right. So you have ASMR Suzy, it's bourbon and baseball ASMR version. Everyone's like, what the hell? I was really hoping that I would get like the Phoebe from
Yeah.
Friends, like that, like smelly cat, like that voice, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So sorry.
Maybe by the end of the episode, if you keep pushing through.
Maybe. Look, I've got my hot toddy. Okay, I've got like
Yes.
my hot water. There's some bourbon in here. So who the fuck knows where this show's gonna go?
Right.
Okay, 'cause there is some bourbon tonight, guys. There is some bourbon. So we're just gonna jump right into some hot stove nose.
Hot stew on the
stove
brain.
news. God, guys, it is 9:51 on a Tuesday night. Okay, like this is
We're
what you
old
get here.
ladies,
Yeah,
so bear with us.
this is what you get. This is what you get. So we're gonna start with some sad news that it's a little older, but that's okay. Sadly, Peter Seidler, the owner of the Padres, passes away, and he was like one of those managers, one of those owners that like genuinely loved baseball. He wanted to own a team because he loved baseball, and not like he just wanted to own a team just to make money.
Right.
And I'm really interested to see what that does to the payroll.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if that transition is made as quickly as 2024. It certainly seems like there could be some changes in that direction with the trade rumors and stuff that we're hearing, but they've got a lot of long-term contracts, a lot of big money tied up. And yeah, it is really, really sad because he was so young, 63 years old. He'd been dealing with illness for a while, but we know that he was one of those owners that is the dream in professional sports, few and far between, but really loved his city, loved his team, loved his fans, and just wanted to put everything that he possibly could into bringing a championship home for the city and the team. So sadly, he is no longer around to do that, but it is a transitional time for the Padres, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. And his legacy will live on of the pieces that he did set up, because obviously they've got some really great, powerful, amazing pieces, but certainly after last season, maybe shaking things up isn't such a bad thing. And AJ Preller, who has been I believe his title is president of baseball operations for the Padres for many years now, was Peter Seidler's like right-hand man. Like the reason AJ Preller is still there is because of Peter Seidler's relationship and full trust in him. So they've let all these managers go through the revolving door and be like, nope, Preller's my guy. He's got it. So that's the other thing I'm really interested to see is how long his leash stays now.
Right.
And, Mike Schildt has been named the new manager for the San Diego Padres, which personally, as a Cardinals fan, we're all very happy to see Schildt get another chance. And former players who have played with him have come out. Xavier Scruggs posted a great thread on Twitter today that I shared, just speaking so highly of Mike Schildt and the real impact and difference that he can make in the clubhouse. So I'm excited to see where that takes the Padres too. I feel like I went from like definitely not rooting for the Padres last year to being like, okay, 2024 Padres, I see you.
Well, it's also interesting the fact that they let go, quote unquote, let go Bob Melvin, and they're like, "You can, Bob Melvin, it's okay. You can go. You can go to the Giants. That's okay. In
Yeah.
division rival,
Yeah.
we don't care." And they brought like, so I was thinking, okay, so they let go of Bob Melvin, and there was obviously like, quote unquote, philosophical differences between him and AJ Preller. So I was thinking maybe they would bring in maybe a younger manager, maybe a little bit more. And I don't know Mike Schultz at all, and I don't know his like coaching style, managing style, but I would imagine that maybe it would it would lean a little bit more towards what Bob Melvin did versus like a new school manager. But again,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he known for his analytical takes? Like I don't. What is?
Not necessarily. No. I mean, he's very much a player's manager, and his strengths are in building relationships and being kind of an advocate and really an advocate for both sides. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the things that I admire about him is that it seems like he's a really good middleman between the front office and the players. And that might be the most valuable thing that a manager can be this
Yep.
day and age. And yeah, Ryan Flaherty, I believe, was the other name that was being floated as the most likely managerial candidate for the Padres. And he would have been like that first time manager, probably a little bit more progressive. But Mike Schildt has been working in the front office with AJ Preller as a
Okay.
special assistant to the president for the last few seasons. So obviously, again, that AJ Preller calling the shots, and I'm sure that was very much something that Peter Seidler was in on
Right.
until the very end, that, he wanted AJ Preller to make that decision. So that's where it's going to be interesting. I surely don't think there's going to be a sharp turn of like new ownership, big changes because of things that have already been put in place. That's just, not going to be able to happen in full force. But maybe it doesn't need to because I don't know. I like to say similar to the Cardinals, but
Right.
there's a lot of differences between the Padres and the Cardinals last year, but the similarities were that they were like unpredictably horrible for different reasons, but not super glaringly obvious reasons. And so
Right.
maybe there's not a ton that needs to change about the Padres, and maybe these little kind of nuanced, more or less forced changes will be the thing.
Well, I'm wondering since Mike Schultz worked in the front office, maybe obviously I assume would have a better relationship with AJ Preller than maybe
Exactly.
Bob Melvin did, and so
Exactly.
maybe they can like coexist in a better headspace, whatnot. So
It does seem that
let's
way.
well we shall see. But speaking of the Padres, though, I don't know how many teams have been linked to Juan Soto trade rumors. Like
Yes.
I think like the only team that I haven't heard him be on is like the Angels.
Yeah.
Like I've even heard like, oh, are the Astros in? Shut the fuck up. The Astros are not in on Juan Soto. Shut up. Um, but like the most quote unquote likely landing spots is the Yankees, and I don't. If I personally have a hard time rooting for Juan Soto, and if Juan Soto goes to the Yankees, that just seals the
Yeah.
fate of all of the things. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I feel similarly in that, like, I don't want to root for him, but there's something about him that I'm like, God, you're like everything that annoys the hell out of me. But for some reason, like, I do find him really likable, or I don't know if likable is the right word, but he has that like star quality. Like, I get
Yeah.
it,
He's got
but
like
I
a very
completely, yeah, go
like
ahead.
magnetic,
Yes.
like like that je ne sais quoi. You're like, why do I want to watch you? I don't want to watch you, but yet I can't take my eyes off. It's like a
Yeah.
train wreck. He's a fucking train wreck. That's
He's a
that's what I'm going
sparkly,
with.
beautiful, well-paid train wreck. Yeah, but I also completely agree with you that, like, if he went to the Yankees, do you think his personality would fit in there? Like, I know he obviously has the star presence, and the pressure I don't think would get to him, the pressure of the
Yeah.
pinstripes or whatever, but I just don't like, do we need to see the Yankees ruin another guy's swagger? Like, they took it from Harrison Bader. They,
They took it from
shackled
Garrett
Jordan
Cole. They
from
took it
Garrett
from Garrett
Cole.
Cole.
They shackled Jordan Montgomery from just wearing his beard loud and proud and being the pitcher he was always meant to be for years. I feel like they might take a little something from Juan Soto by, making him play for the team and not for
For
himself or
himself.
whatever the reason they don't have their
Yeah.
names on their jerseys, Like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see it.
I don't see it either. I I don't know. But,
I
like,
do, however, see the Yankees actively very much trying to get him, and I could
yeah.
see where his bat would be super attractive to them for all different sorts
What?
of
A
reasons.
left-handed bat? I
In
don't
Yankee Stadium?
why why would the all right-handed bat Yankee lineup need a left-hander? Like, that's just silly. That's we don't left-handed.
So, if not the Yankees, where do you think the most likely place for him to be traded could be?
Who needs outfield? Ooh, no, the D-backs wouldn't do that.
Because is he's a free agent at the end of this season or
Is
at
it
the end of 2025?
I wanna say he has 1 more year of
I
control.
think I think you're right.
So I think it's the end
So
of
that's a
next
game
season.
changer,
So,
but
yeah, so, like, 1 year rental, I don't know, maybe the Dodgers?
yeah, Dodgers are in and well in on anyone that they really want, which is so fucking annoying, but
Yeah, I'm thinking of, like, well, who would even want to take on that contract? I mean, like, really nobody.
right. That's the thing is, like, I just don't think it's that attractive of a situation unless it was the perfect deal. So it's hard for me to imagine what that would look like. Like, propose something to me and maybe I could weigh it, but there's not one that I can particularly come up with where I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I
Unless the Padres are trying to, like, rebuild their farm system, but their farm system's not horrible, so
yeah, no. They're in a pretty good spot there. I can't imagine that would help them out a ton, again, unless it was, specifically just the right puzzle pieces, but Juan Soto, is he the type of player that, like, kinda like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, like, if he Shohei Ohtani, if he's available, like, you at least try to throw out your best offer? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
he has been. I don't know if it's just because the Padres were so underwhelming last season that, like, I
Juan
don't
Soto to the
necessarily.
Mets. You are a Met, Juan Soto.
There you go.
There you go. That's hot stove breaking news. Juan Soto to the Mets. Right?
You need to be bringing
Um,
all the breaking news with your ASMR voice. You're hired.
done. Done and done.
Jeff Passan has been replaced by Suzy, but only as long as she's unhealthy.
He's got better hair than me. He's got better hair. I
You
don't
have really good hair.
yeah.
What's your hair care routine, Jeff Passan? Come on the
Right?
show and let us know. This is what the people wanna know.
That's exactly
Forget
what I mean.
Yamamoto. Who cares where he's going?
We don't care. We don't care. Pat Murphy, the bench coach for the Brewers, has been named their actual manager, and they're burning it down. Burning it down.
Yeah. Are they? Maybe. They, non-tendered Brandon Woodruff, who was their very strong number 2, in the starting rotation. He
Not gonna be able to pitch this next season
Yeah, yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Fair
But
enough.
regardless, I mean, he came up in the Brewer system, like, he's been your ace. What are you doing? I mean,
Yeah.
I I'll be really interested to see because they quietly had said something about, like, trying to shed payroll, and I
Right.
figured that that was only gonna be with the players. I think they let go, like, half of their scouting department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so
Jeez. Do you think this is all because of Craig Counsell leaving? Like, it really seems like that happened and they were like, well, that just completely changed the trajectory for 2024.
it kind of seems like it. Like,
Yeah, it does.
tell
That's
us
the story that
like, tell
is.
us you relied on Craig Counsell without telling us you relied on Craig
Yeah,
Counsell.
well, and if you're the Cubs, you're thinking even more like, "Wow, yeah, that was definitely worth it." I just am so interested in the whole, like, conversation of what kind of not only what kind of role the manager plays, but how effective and what kind of a difference maker they can actually be when it comes right down to it, and there's a lot of storylines like this one that make you think that they are really the difference maker.
I
So, yeah,
think
Craig Counsell's gone and the
it'll
Brewers
be
are
really interesting to
out.
see what happens with Corbin Burns.
Yeah,
If they do something with Corbin Burns, if Corbin Burns is not a Brewer next season,
yeah,
then like, that's it. Okay,
they're bound out. Yeah.
they're they're gonna tear it all down and rebuild. Like, everyone's like, "No, it's a retooling." Bitch, no, it's not. But yeah, depending on what happens with Corbin Burns, I'll be watching that. Brewers
What
babes, what are you
what
doing?
oh gosh. Oh, I feel for them. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna let it breathe. We'll see what happens here before I mean, I'm also over here as a Cardinals fan working through my own feelings of things that are happening that we hope the dust has not settled entirely on yet. So I know that feeling, but
Kelsey, old guys need love too, okay?
I know, I know. I listen, I am the one who stood by Adam Wainwright's side every step, every last pitch of the way. Hell, I'm a huge Rich Hill fan.
Oh my
Love
gosh.
him. But when you put too many old puzzle pieces next to each other, the puzzle is not going to stay together. That's just, it's science, Susie. I said on my episode that came out today, I said I like everything about it except for the science, the hard facts, you know, of having a starting rotation with the average age of 35 years old.
Listen, that
But anyway,
starting rotation is gonna be fueled by vibes and Ben Gay, all right?
oh
Like,
yeah,
so many ice
Tiger Balls,
baths.
baby.
And then, like, I thought I saw something saying that the Cardinals were open to trading Steven Matz.
I
Is
have
that
seen a
right?
lot of that as well. Yeah. And so that makes sense. And that would put them, I would assume, to in a position to be more competitive to not to potentially either trade for another top of the rotation starter or even sign another top of the rotation starter. So I like Steven Matz. I think he's had some really tough luck the last couple of years. And I think he could be well utilized for any team in a
Right.
number of ways, whether it's as a starter or in the bullpen. So I think he's an attractive trade piece. And I don't know, like I feel okay about that happening as long as it ends with Yoshinobu Yamamoto in my starting rotation. Otherwise, I'm like,
I don't know why you're
I
not
don't know.
satisfied with Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, okay? Now, granted, you guys did sign Sonny Gray, but I feel like if y'all started with Sonny Gray
Yeah.
and then added Gibby and Lance Lynn, I feel like everyone would be a little bit more, pleased with that, but, like, the way in which it came about and I maybe is it just me? Why are we ranking Lance Lynn as your 3 and Kyle
No.
Gibson as the 5?
We have a number 2 starter in Sonny Gray, and then we have 4 number 5 starters. At best, at best. And I'm not like again, I love and appreciate these guys for who they are as players. They obviously have had consistent, admirable success in the major leagues. So I feel bad like not being happy to have them on our team because it's nothing personal. It's
Right,
nothing
right,
personal. It's just science, like I
right.
said. So
They're gonna eat innings. At the very least, they're gonna take the ball every 5th
yeah,
day.
I don't know about you, but, like, generally, I don't typically choose, like, quantity over quality. I'm a quality over quantity type gal, and I think that's how you play Major League Baseball or, like, anything
No,
really.
definitely not. You definitely sign the almost over the hill pitcher that gave up the most home runs last season. That is
Because then you can have the pitcher who gave up the most home runs, the pitcher who gave up the most hits, and the pitcher who gave up the most runs all in the same starting rotation and over the age of 35. That's the recipe for success. If I'm doing my math correctly, and I did score absurdly low on the ACT portion, specifically in math, that definitely equals a 90 win team. Yep,
yeah.
that's it.
I don't know, maybe we need a little bit of, like, flavor in the starting rotation
Oh, yeah.
because I feel like if the starting rotation were to plan a cookout, it would have boiled chicken.
Yep.
Boiled chicken
Yeah, maybe green beans, like, not even green bean casserole, just
no, just, like, straight up
plain
green
green
beans.
beans.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no spice, there's no flavor, there's no cookout, although I feel like maybe Sonny Gray could bring a little bit of down home.
Yeah, he might bring the cornbread, get a little extra butter in there.
Mhm.
Still not the spice, but a little more
No,
filling.
yeah, I don't know, maybe we look at some, like, Latin pictures or, definitely a Yamamoto would add a little bit of color, just a little bit, though.
You
We
think
don't
the Brewers will give us Corbin Burns?
I don't think that would add any more flavor.
It would
You
not,
would no,
but
you would be happier with the strikeout totals, for sure.
yes.
I would at least turn on the TV for a Corbin Burns start, like, not gonna lie, my panties are not getting moist when,
Corbin
like,
Burns might fit
Wayne's
better
Win is
into that Astros rotation next season, actually.
I would love Corbin Burns.
That
I've
would
been
be
wanting
dangerous.
Corbin Burns on my rotation. It's a pipe dream, it's not gonna happen.
So
I
we
don't
talked
know.
about how Brandon Woodruff, who was the Brewers' other top pitcher, was non-tendered. He was arbitration eligible for around $11 million, but his recovery time is six to 18 months. So that's what the Brewers are like. And they know have a little more insight in that, I'm sure, than we
Right.
do. To just be like, we're not in a position to shell it out and make that
Is
kind
it
of investment on him to not pitch in 2024. Still a lot to give up considering, he's young and the
is
outlook's
it Tommy
good.
John, though? Or is it a shoulder
No,
sur
it was shoulder surgery, which
Okay.
is
That's a little bit more
yeah, there is
nerve-wracking.
yeah, yeah, more of a risk or uncertainty there for
Yeah.
sure. But we'll see him get picked up somewhere. There are organizations that tend to take those risks on more than others. It's where they make their investment,
Yeah.
whether in their medical staff and stuff like that. So the Dodgers, I feel like, love to do that,
Yeah,
um,
for
and I could
sure.
see them picking up Big Woo, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's what would your definition, I guess, of like what's a rebuild versus retooling? Are what the Cardinals trying to do like retooling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like a rebuild is a bug just, like, flew onto me, guys, sorry. I feel like what maybe the Angels are doing is like a rebuild.
Or like the White Sox.
Oh god. The White Sox is a fucking dumpster fire, that's what that is
An
over there.
avalanche.
Yeah. Who's gonna pick up Tim Anderson?
I don't know. Who needs a shortstop? Anybody? Or I mean, he could play second base.
The
Somebody's
Angels?
ordering him out. I mean, yeah, I have
Actually,
heard whispers of it.
I could see Tim Anderson and Ron Washington just, like, ironing Tim Anderson the fuck out and just be like,
Yeah,
"Come
I
on,
like that a
motherfucker.
lot.
We're gonna get this shit knocked out." Like, I I'm calling it. Tim Anderson to the Angels.
That's what I need for Tim Anderson because they're the same way that we were talking about like Juan Soto, like there's just something about him that is like obnoxious. There's something about Tim Anderson that even though I am not proud and do not condone his behavior in a lot of ways recently, I expect more from him. And I think I
Yeah,
see that in him. And I think he's just been dealing with some shit
yeah,
but he
yeah,
has it
there's
in
some
him.
baby mama drama
Yeah, yeah,
off
yeah.
the field, and so I, um Mark DeRosa for the coach for Team USA
Yeah.
it was so funny listening to him and his comments about Tim Anderson before he met Tim Anderson,
Oh.
and then after he met Tim Anderson.
Ooh.
And after he met Tim Anderson, he could not talk more highly of him. And
Really?
he went in, and it wasn't in so many words, but you could tell, like, Mark DeRosa was like, I am not gonna like Tim Anderson." Like,
Mm.
he like, there's there was a segment that he had done where I mean, he wasn't, like, flat out saying, like, "Oh, Tim Anderson, like, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
But afterwards, he's like, "Tim Anderson is a dude." Like, he didn't care if he was gonna play shortstop, he didn't care if he was gonna be second base. Like, he came up to me and he said, "Wherever you need me, I will play."
Yeah.
Like, where I'm I'm just proud and happy to be part of the team, and if you don't see me in, like, that's okay too, like, I'll sit on the bench and, like, cheer. And you could tell that, like, it hit Mark DeRosa and it totally changed his perception of him. And I really I feel like I feel like Ron Washington is gonna take him under his wing and be like, "Bro, let's get this shit going." Because his season last season was not Tim Anderson like
Right.
that we knew.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much of, like Jose Abreu leaving that clubhouse, I don't know how much that affected everything. I feel like maybe Jose Abreu leaving affected it way more than everyone thought it was going to.
Seems like it. Yeah.
And so I don't know if Tim Anderson's like, I didn't wanna be like the head guy of everyone, like, looking at me, like, I'm the example, like, I don't wanna be the fucking example, you know? So maybe that got to him too. But I feel like Tim Anderson to the Angels is gonna be a thing, and it's gonna be like a one-year prove it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's definitely looking for a pillow deal for a chance because he has the proven skill. It's there. There was definitely some other factors at
Yeah,
play, and the other thing is that, like, there are those guys who can thrive in any kind of culture, in any scenario, and just kinda put their blinders on and be who they are, but for a lot of people, and this is in professional sports and outside of it, the situation that you're in is very indicative of your behavior and the outcome. So, I mean, personally, like as someone who has managed people in business, if they know that there are not expectations being held and there isn't anyone who like cares about them showing up and their performance and the way that we heard everybody talking about the White Sox culture last year, a
yeah,
lot of people are not going to show up and be their best in that kind of situation,
yep, yep,
especially depending on where you are as a person. So, yeah, I absolutely agree that someone like Ron Washington and a different kind of culture could make a huge difference from what we see out of a guy like Tim Anderson and a lot of guys.
yeah, for sure. So, you know, and that's did you hear, Ron Washington's, one of his statements at his press conference? And he was saying that the Angels were gonna run down the West, and I was like, "Ron Washington, I love you, and I love his confidence, but sir,
Yes.
we we gots to talk about your roster. Come on now." Like,
Well, I think the Angels are ones to watch because they've got enough big money, again, already tied up that they might as well try to go for it. I mean, Artie Moreno is not going to shy away from throwing money around. That's
do you think he deals Mike Trout, though? Do you think Mike Trout finally is like, "Fuck all of y'all. I need a ring. I need a ring, and I need to play in October."
I don't, but I know I'm on a short list of people who thinks that Mike Trout will not be traded. I also think, Suzy, I also think Shohei Ohtani is going to play on the Angels next year. So don't get me started. I
Do
I
you? Do you
am living in my
honestly?
own simulation, so
Do you
I
really?
really do. Yes,
Oh,
I do.
wow, okay.
I talked about it on my episode that came out today, so if you want to hear me go into more detail about this, you can go check out today's episode of Peace, Love, and Baseball, but I'm not gonna say that I might be right, I just have, like, a weird feeling about it,
That's
and
okay.
I disclosed more, specific reasons. I don't just have, like, this feeling, I also have some other reasons to back it up, but I won't bore you with that as I talked everybody's ear off about it who wanted to listen already, but, here, I'll say it again, and we can clip it if it, by any chance, happens, I'll be the only person that said it.
That's so funny. Kelsey's got that,
Don't you wanna play for Ron Washington in 2024?
I mean, if there's a huge mountain of cocaine, let's do it. Like, I'm with it,
You
man.
might be able to play Major League Baseball then. Me too.
Possibly.
We will
I
never
would
know.
I would run very fast, very, very fast. But you know who's not gonna play for Ron Washington this season?
Who?
Giancarlo Stanton.
He probably wishes he could too.
Probably,
I
probably.
mean, especially after Brian Cashman just seems like he has so much faith in Giancarlo Stanton.
Like, what the actual fuck,
I mean,
Brian
listen,
Cashman,
this
like,
is
how would you feel if your general manager was just like, "Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's part of his game. He's just always hurt." It's not like Giancarlo Stanton's, like, out here fucking, like, doing skateboard tricks.
no.
Like,
Or,
what
like, breaking his leg on his motorcycle, like
Yeah,
some other people, you know?
right?
Yeah, no.
I'm like, what I d it's as if you're saying he's, like, trying to get hurt or, like, that's just who he is. I like, what are you doing? Like, even if you want to think that in your head, don't say that shit out loud, Brian Cashman.
Right. I mean, and this is the second big thing, second big Cashman moment of the same week that we're like, That's fine if you want to say that behind closed doors, at the cigar lounge, but like maybe not to the media straight into a microphone." So I guess he thinks his team is pretty fucking good, but not Giancarlo Stanton,
No,
like one of the most notable great teammates who is, stuck with the Yankees more than
forever.
likely. Uh, but what I also found was really interesting that we got to talk about here is Giancarlo Stanton's agent, Joel Wolf, who is a very popular, well-respected agent. He represents Nolan Arenado. He also represents Yamamoto, which people have been talking about. So he actually responded to Cashman's comments, and we love it. We love what Wolf had to say here because it was very calculated. And I quote, "I read the context of the entire interview. I think it's a good reminder for all free agents considering signing in New York, both foreign and domestic, that to play for that team, you've got to be made of Teflon, both mentally and physically, because you can never let your guard down, even in the off season." Ooh,
Yeah,
burn.
what is happening?
This is way more of a reflection on Brian Cashman and the Yankees front office, like clearly unraveling, in my
Yeah,
opinion, than it is on anyone else.
I'm wondering, is Brian Cashman just like, "Let me see how much crazy fucking shit I can get away with?"
Maybe he's bored. He's been doing it for a while,
That's true.
trying to
That's
stir the
true.
pot. I don't know, but to me, he is unraveling because the same I'm not sure if it was here or elsewhere that I was talking about the comments that he made about, I think it was, we were talking a few weeks ago about when he said they're pretty fucking good. Like
Yeah.
that, I felt like I was watching him have a mental break. Like the pressure is on and he can't handle it. And that's what's happening. And it's causing problems. No, oh no, we have people looking for baseball talk, and of course we are here talking about the Yankees like everybody else, right? We'll
Yeah.
move on soon, I
No.
promise.
Well,
But
Aaron is a Yankee fan, and so
no,
he's,
okay,
like, lapping this up,
okay,
although he hates Brian Cashman too, so he's just like, "What the actual fuck?" But
yeah. Do you think this is the time? Is this it? Like, is Cashman finally on his way out the door? Because I'll tell you what I think for sure, and that is this is not the last we're going to hear about this story, because this is something. Do you really think that not only Stanton, but Anthony Rizzo and all of those guys on that team, Aaron Judge, you think Aaron Judge is just going to show up and like not let that be a thing that he remembers? Like, captain, stand up for your guys. I don't know. I think we're going to hear more about this specific story. It will be tied back to things that happen in the Yankees front office, and relationships will never be the same.
Aaron says, #get Baldy out. Yeah. Side note, while speaking of the Yankees, did you see Nestor Cortez get married
No.
this weekend? Yes, Nestor
I
Cortez
remember
got
when he
married.
got engaged. Oh, that's so exciting.
Got
Nestor.
married this weekend. All the guys were there. All of them. Except for Aaron Judge. I mean, maybe he was there, but he wasn't in the photo. That, like, all of the Yankees / ex-Yankees were in, including Josh Donaldson. And I was like,
wow,
Josh Donaldson, what are you? Why are you there?
Yeah.
I thought no one liked you on the Yankees. Like, what's happening? Josh Donaldson there, and apparently that was driven by the media. Like, teammates liked him. But Aaron Judge, where were you? Why were you not at Nestor Cortez's?
Yeah, what could you possibly have to do that's more important than
I don't know.
seeing Nestor get married?
Aaron, you will not ban my podcast. You hush. Hush your mouth. This is my favorite Yankee fan, Aaron.
That's saying a lot that you
yeah.
got in her good graces as a Yankee fan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right. But Nestor Cortez rocking a beautiful, like, white tux.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I could see it.
Also, Yankees, I need you to figure out your fucking hair policy. Okay? Let the guys live. Let the guys live.
Let it loose.
Okay? Like Gleyber Torres with fucking facial hair. Chef's kiss.
I know that this is not actually true, but I want, like, all of the cliche things about the Yankees to just, like, go out of style. I want people to just universally be like, we're over it. You're a Major League Baseball team like any other Major League Baseball team. And we're not buying into these things anymore.
I would love that. Put fucking names on the back of your jerseys. What are you doing? Anyways, okay. Moving from one side of the country to the other. The Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are officially moving to Vegas.
They are not.
Did you know that?
I have heard, but they are lies, and I am here to be the only Oakland A's truther. Again, Ohtani to the Angels in 2024 and Oakland forever. No, I'm not saying that the A's are necessarily staying in Oakland, though I may think that might also happen more or less permanently. But I'll tell you what's not official, and that is them moving to Vegas. Yes, the owners unanimously voted to move the A's to Vegas, but that was one barrier of entry to Vegas. So you can check that box, but there are a lot of other, not just boxes to check, not just I's to dot and T's to cross, but hundreds and hundreds of pages of many, many complicated documents that have to be approved by Major League Baseball before even next steps to actually take action to get the A's to Vegas can happen. And a big thing that's going to cause a rift here and cause it at very least some major delays for them is that the teachers in Nevada have formed an initiative called Schools Over Stadiums, where they're actively trying to get that $380 million that has been approved by state legislature pulled from public funding for the stadium because they need it for the schools. And they are looking to put that on the November 2024 ballot. So it's probably going to be voted on this time next year and potentially taken away from them.
Listen.
That's all I'm saying.
Education in Vegas is not important, Kelsey. Okay? No one can count past 21.
I mean, that's why they need the money.
Okay? No one can count past 21. And our physical education comes in the form of pole dancing, okay? Like, it's that's what it is, all right?
Well, this is what's gonna be being said in court a year from now. I guess not court,
That's
but, on
right,
the
right.
campaign trail.
I need to know, though, like, the mayor of Oakland gave out gift packages,
Oh,
like
yeah.
care packages, to only half the owners. I need to know what the criteria was for this. Like,
Yeah.
did she have a list of owners that she knew she couldn't move? And she was like,
Right.
"Okay, I'm not gonna waste my money on, say, like, like Jim Crane." Or was she like, "Hmm, maybe this koozie and stress ball will sway some votes." I don't actually know. I think the gift packages were actually pretty nice though, but she only gave them to half of the owners, and I'm really wondering, like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, that is really interesting. I mean, so sh they needed 75% to get it approved, so, I mean, maybe it was just like a mathematical, if I get
I
this
don't
many,
know.
that's all I really need. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was
It was
not effective, however,
no, no,
so
because it was unanimously voted on.
I think the owners are like, "Just stop talking about this, stop bringing it to me,
Right,
like, get it down the road and see if you can get it any further because John Fisher, get out of my face," but
yeah. But, from this though, people have said, "You know what? Fuck you, Oakland. We're gonna make our own fucking team.
not
We're
really
gonna
"Fuck
do."
you, Oakland, fuck you, John Fisher."
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Because
let's be clear.
they love Oakland,
Yes, yes,
love the green,
and Oakland loves baseball.
yeah, and so they made their own team, and I think it's part of the Pacific Coast League, am I
The, Frontier League, no, the Pioneer
Pioneer
League. The
Pioneer
Pioneer
League,
League.
thank you. I'm like, I knew it started with a P.
Yes.
And they've called themselves the Oakland Ballers.
The
The
Oakland
Oakland
Ballers,
Ballers.
baby.
I love that. And, Dallas Braden, I need Dallas Braden to, like, color commentate one of these Oakland Bees games, and I think it would just be fucking hysterical. I think that does some sort of, like, contract something with the Oakland A's, but fuck it, whatever. But I don't even know where they're gonna play for, like, a year because their stadium wouldn't even be ready for 3 years.
Yeah, so they're building them a new stadium, the
Yeah.
ownership group. It says they're gonna expand the seating at the stadium, of Laney College, which is an Oakland junior college, and that's where they're gonna play.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
So, I mean, I guess that's a good place to start.
I mean, I guess anything is better than the Coliseum right now, so I don't know.
Right.
I feel like I really wanna go out there for a game, though. Just just
Oh,
to
yeah.
I was gonna say envision, that's not the word that I'm looking for. To really, like, immerse myself in that experience
Yeah.
before it goes away. I feel like that needs to happen. Let's do that, Kelsey. We'll go on a field trip.
I love that.
Road trip. Let's do it.
I've only been to the Bay Area once, and I haven't been to either of the stadiums out there, any of the
Ooh,
stadiums out there, so let's do it. Let's
let's
go to
do a
them
whole,
all.
like, California, just, like, Giants. I don't wanna go to a Dodgers game, but
Yeah,
Giants, A's, Angels. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm in.
Alright. So, let's talk about the hot stove because the hot stove has been stoving and it's been hot.
It's been so hot. The Phillies,
Yeah.
namely, have re-signed Aaron Nola for 7 years, $172 million. Congrats to Aaron Nola on getting that big long-term deal that we know he wanted and so deserved. It was reported that he turned down other big offers from the likes of the Dodgers and the Braves for maybe a little higher AAV, but he ultimately took that hometown discount. And I love to hear that
Yeah.
because one, we love a franchise player. It doesn't happen a lot anymore. And two, it shows us that culture matters and there is more to the value of a contract than just that dollar amount year over year. So good for Aaron Nola.
You
Good for
hear
the
that, Alex
Phillies.
Bregman? Do you hear that, Breggy? Okay, I need you to take note.
Listen in.
Take note.
I'm talking to you.
Stay here. Anyways, yeah. So I'll be interested to see if he can get his ERA down a little bit more during the regular season.
Well, did you hear about so he was very effective in the postseason, and it almost seemed like, what is it? He's the Aaron Nola of yore, like, what happened? And apparently, there was an adjustment that he made of just slightly of the way he was looking at one pitch clock that was, like I can't remember directionally where it was, but there's a couple different pitch clocks that he could reference, and he was looking at one, and the pitching coach was like, "No, you need to look at this other one because it's affecting the way that your like stance and your mechanics." And so he made that adjustment at the beginning of the postseason, and apparently that's why he was
Isn't that crazy?
back to old A's form. Which
That
it absolutely could be something that I'm sorry, when you operate at that high of a level, it could be something that small
that
for
is
sure.
that reminds me of Brandon Pfaadt, the super young pitcher for the
Yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks. Brent Strom, kind of so Brandon Pfaadt came up, went back down, came back up. When he came back up in the middle of the season, they moved where he started from on the pitching rubber. So he was standing on the third base side originally and pitching, and he was walking a lot of guys.
Mhm.
They moved him to the first base side of the rubber, and just that distance,
Yeah.
all of those balls were now in the zone, and I'm all, "That's the fucking most, like, absolute ridiculous minute tweak of where you stand, like, what?
But you
How
gotta
d"
think, like, that's a lot of what pitching coaches have to be for these days because it's
Yeah,
not like you get to the major leagues not knowing how to pitch. Like, there's only so much they can do
yeah,
once you're at that level, but that is absolutely something that I guess watching everything day in and day out, you might notice and say, like, "Let's give it a go."
yeah. Aaron wants to know, what are our thoughts on the pitch clock?
I think it's fine. What do you think? I mean, I
I
I have
I think it's
feelings, but
I
whatever.
I think it's fine as it is now.
Mhm.
The There was a proposed thing saying that, MLBPA, like, wants or not MLBPA, I'm sorry, fucking Rob Manfred is thinking about lowering the time on the pitch clock again, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Rob Manfred,
I
shut
don't
up."
know why. I mean, I've not even entertained the articles on that. I just, like,
Yep,
got annoyed by it and was like, "Why?"
yep,
I don't wanna know why. Don't tell me. Don't try to sell me on it, Rob. No, but I also don't think that on the other end, like, I also think that Max Scherzer is a whiny baby, and I don't think that his rhetoric, like, what he's selling
yep,
about it being, something that puts the pitcher's health at risk, they're way too small of a sample size for us to be making any kind of assumptions like that. I get that the pace of the game needed an adjustment. I think it effectively did that. I I like baseball because it moves a little bit slower and because of the anticipation and, like, I don't like necessarily losing that, but I get it, and yeah, I fully agree with you, like, just keep it how it is. You gotta have a larger sample size before you go changing anything one way or
yeah,
another.
no, like, if anything, I would wanna keep, like, how it is now, and then, like, maybe in the playoffs, add 5 seconds, if, like, 5 seconds to both sides, like,
Yeah,
runner on, runner off, like, I would be like, postseason baseball? Give me more postseason baseball, hell
yeah,
yeah, but, like, on a random Tuesday against the fucking Royals, I don't
yeah,
wanna spend 4 fucking hours watching that.
yeah.
Actually, maybe I do if Cole Ragans is pitching,
Mm,
but
see?
but
That's the reason.
regardless, yeah, but, like, postseason, yes, give me more postseason baseball. You can extend the clock then,
Yep,
but, like, I'm don't by no means do I want it shortened. No, absolutely not. So,
there you go.
uh, yeah,
Thanks
there
for
you
asking,
go.
Aaron.
Yep. So, moving on from the Phillies, we talked about the Cardinals. Reynaldo Lopez from the Guardians, his pen pal, his buddy, Lucas Giolito, not going to the Braves. Funny, like, weird, kinda quirky thing is Reynaldo Lopez and Lucas Giolito came up together, and literally everywhere they went together.
Yeah.
Trades, White Sox, Card like, all of it, 'em all. Did the Angels for like a pit stop. What? I'm like, it almost gave me like weird, like side eye vibes, and I'm all, how? Why? And I was like, is there some like Brokeback Mountain type energy going on? Like, like that's totally
That's
fine,
something I hadn't thought of.
right? But I'm like, Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez are not 2 names that I thought would be linked ever, but totally
Yeah.
linked now because but, I'm like, I don't think that Lucas Giolito will be signed by the Braves because I don't think Lucas Giolito wants to give 1% back to the Braves, okay? He
Maybe
doesn't wanna
not.
give 1% back of his contract to the
That's
Braves.
that's definitely gonna be why he doesn't sign. I do think it's cool that Reynaldo Lopez is gonna be stretched out as a starter for the Braves. I think that's a good opportunity. It's a win-win for both of them. Good fit. So overall, I was happy to see it. But yeah, I didn't even think of where's Lucas?
Don't even know. Don't even know. It's odd. Kenta Maeda also signed with not the Braves, but moves from the Twins to the Detroit Tigers. And I'm like, "Oh, alright, Kenta." Like, 2 for 24. He gets $14 million this next season, $10 million in 25. And now sneakily, I'm like, um, are the Tigers gonna be interesting next season?
Yeah, they are, especially because the Twins are not, and the
They're
White Sox
also
are
shedding
probably
payroll.
not. Yeah. No, because of their division, absolutely. I think the Tigers are gonna be young and exciting, and they might as well be in it. They've got as good of a chance as anyone right now.
Yeah, like, it'll be really interesting. They've got, Spencer Torkelson, they've got Gary Mize, Casey Mize, I'm dumb, um, Kerry Wood, I wanna say, I think that's it. But they've got some, like, young oh, Tariq Skubal,
Yes.
like, sneaky name. I wanna say he ended his season last season with, like, a low 2s ERA, and I'm all, "I'm sorry, who? What?"
Yeah, they've had some good pieces here and there for a while too. And I as much as obviously Miguel Cabrera is amazing for baseball and it was awesome that he got to end his career the way that he did. They also have a lot more flexibility
Yeah.
without him on the payroll anymore as well, or without, having to make a point to get him at bats. So
I
it's
don't
a
know,
good
Javi
good
Baez,
time
are
to move
you
on.
gonna figure your shit out?
Javi Baez.
What are you doing?
He was one of those players that like I used to love to hate. Like, I hated him because he was so good, but now I just, like, forget about him.
Well, it's because he swings at literally everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to watch the Detroit Tigers. I'm like, I don't AJ Hinch, what are you cooking over there? We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. So
Well, the White Sox have made their move. They have made their offseason move. They have signed Paul DeJong to a $1.75 million deal. He is
they
their new
saved
shortstop.
they saved themselves $11 million.
I mean, listen, and Paul DeJong is a stand-up, buttoned-up, charitable, wonderful, amazing human being. So he's definitely going to be a good organizational change for them in terms of like culture.
Yeah.
If that's what they're looking for. But he's not going to be like the new Jose Abreu, leader of the clubhouse necessarily. But he's a really really good dude, and I would love nothing more than to see him come back and play some really good baseball again. So
Yeah.
good for him. I will be happy to be close by to see him play this coming season.
Another guy on the move, Eugenio Suarez,
Eugenio.
third baseman for the Seattle Mariners, gets moved to the D-backs. And this move makes me like my D-backs a little bit less. And I don't actually know why. No, I take that back. I do know why. It's because he's a Mariner.
I think overall it just makes them like makes them seem a little less scrappy, and
Yeah,
that's the thing that we all just like really got on board with about them. So I get it.
yeah.
I get
But
why it makes you feel that way.
Eugenio Suarez, um, over there at third base. Evan Longoria was over there. Who's the other one? Rivera. So that will be, a big bat in the lineup. Strikes out a bunch. So maybe he'll clean that up a titch. I don't know. Gets traded for Sebi Zavala, backup catcher, and a reliever. I want to say that apparently throws fire. Doesn't know where the fuck it's going,
Hmm.
but can throw really fast.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of relief pitchers these
Yeah.
days. So.
So, but I really like the D-backs, and I kind of wish that I lived anywhere close to where I could go watch D-backs games, Kelsey, because they had a fucking ridiculous deal.
Yeah, they did. And if I agreed, if I was anywhere near there, would have been all over that Cyber Monday shit.
All 81 home games for $299.
Take my money. Ugh.
Like,
Like,
what?
that's so affordable, I almost bought it, and along with, like, some Southwest miles or something
Yeah.
because
It's like obviously not that kind of Asian. This is not a math pod, but I want to say the math ends up being like $3.40 or something dumb a ticket. Now, granted, you're going to be in like the third deck,
that's
but
alright.
still,
Get in. It's for
get
the
in,
experience.
get loud. And this is your team just went to the World Series. Okay, you're not the fucking Oakland A's. Like, I would have expected this for the Oakland A's.
Right. No, it's so affordable that even if you did wanna buy, like, upgraded tickets for, a handful of games, it would still be worth it to get this for the other ones. And even, like, StubHub them the days you don't use them, you know?
Actually, you cannot do that.
Oh, you cannot do that. Okay,
You
that's
can't do
fair,
that. You
that's fair.
can't transfer them. You can't resell them. And I want it so you buy this the day of the game. You go and they will release the
Eh.
blocks of seats, and then you
Oh, okay,
then
cool.
you choose your seat. And then if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade
There
for
you
X amount of dollars.
go.
But yeah, I'm like, bro, I would do this in a fucking heartbeat. Like
Absolutely.
$299 is what I would spend on like 2 tickets for decent seats to an Astros home game.
Yep. Same here in
And
Chicago.
that's not
Yep.
including parking and food and drinks,
Yep.
like, that would almost be so fucking affordable that I'd be like, "Oh, I can take my family of 4."
Yeah.
That, like, because my girls are like, "Mom, when are we gonna go to a game?" When you can sit through a game and I don't
Yeah.
waste my money. That's
When
when
you're
you get to a
16
game.
and you can pay for your ticket.
Yeah. So, I was so mad, and I know, like, various fan bases were, like, shouting this deal out, and I'm all, "D-backs, did you mean to have, like, another 9 on there somewhere? Like, maybe another 2?"
Right.
I I feel like this is ridiculously low pricing, but whatever,
I'd
I
be
can
interested to see, maybe it'll come out, like, how many of these packs that they sold because yeah, I mean, I think it's great for the team is gonna be really excited about it because they'll just have a more full stadium more regularly,
yeah.
and I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
I mean, like, you get to watch that, like, super fun young core of
Yeah.
fucking, like, Corbin Carroll, I was gonna say Corbin Burns. Jesus Christ. That's not part of the young core, guys. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Burns to the
Um,
Diamondbacks? We'll
ooh,
clip it if
that would
it
be
happens.
that would be fucking sexy as
That would.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You wanna talk about a three-headed monster.
I don't know if all
Fucking
those, $2.99 ticket packs are gonna pay for Corbin Burns, but
all of them, all of them.
all of them. Yeah. We'll see how many we sold first.
Yeah.
Circle back on
Good
that.
night. Alright, so but yeah, the Astros, The Astros finally named Josue Espada as our general manager. And now we're like, hi, who's gonna be our bench coach? Omar Lopez. Come on down. Omar Lopez was our first base coach. Beloved. Love him. And basically brought back the entire coaching staff minus one guy. I don't know what happened to Dan Farova. I don't know if he retired. I don't know what exactly happened to him, but
Interesting.
so, but yeah, most of all of our guys came back. Our first base coach is filled by Dave Clark. I did not do my research, but apparently Dave Clark used to be an Astros player. He was in our minor league system. He was a coach for our minor league system as well. So it'll be interesting to see, like, kind of keeping everything in house.
Can you hear my cat screaming? Screaming at me.
Suzy, shut up.
Like,
We
bitch,
don't.
it's bedtime.
We don't want to hear about the fucking Astros. Shut up.
I'm so embarrassed, Rasha.
That's so funny. Normally it would be like my cat, like yelling at me to give them food, but that's okay. It's yours. But yeah, so we basically upgraded everybody one spot. So Joe Spot is our manager. Omar Lopez is our new bench coach. Alex Cintron and Troy Snickerback is our hitting coaches. Oh, and Jason Kanzler, excuse me. Gary Pettis was our third base coach. There was rumors that Gary Pettis was going to the Angels, but Joe Espada talked him out of it and was like, "What are you doing, Gary? Like, you got to stay here, bro." So I was very excited about that. Josh Miller as our pitching coach, Bill Murphy as our bullpen coach, Tommy Kawamura as our game planning coach. Do you guys have a game planning coach?
That does not sound like a title that I'm familiar with, but it sounds like a title that Yadier Molina might have soon. So we're still waiting on what his official title is going to be. Daniel Descalzo, who is a former infielder for the Cardinals, and he actually was a special assistant with the Diamondbacks this year and helped them win the pennant. So he's going to be the new bench coach for the Cardinals. And the job was offered to Yadier Molina, but obviously, as he has just retired from Major League Baseball, he still has young kids, and he was not looking to commit to being gone away from his kids that regularly for the entire season. So they're still kind of working something out, but maybe game planning coach. I mean, that sounds like what he must have been doing since they couldn't plan anything for games to win any without him.
Right.
So I like it.
Yeah. Jason Bell comes on as our quality assurance guy. I don't know what that is either.
Quality. John
yeah.
Mozeliak. Key word there.
Yeah. Catching coach Michael Collins and our bullpen catcher Javier Bracamonte. So our staff, Astro staff, fully back, promoting within. I was thinking that maybe our AAA manager, Mickey something. I don't remember Mickey's last name. I was thinking that maybe he would get a bump, but that's okay because we got everybody else. And I think that's it. Oh, I lied. We got to talk about one more thing, Kelsey. What is it? Hall of Fame ballots came out.
The Hall of Fame ballot.
Yeah. Hall of Fame ballots, guys. I'm so excited to talk about the Hall of Fame ballots.
All right, I have a couple big feelings about the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to say mine really quick because then I want you to get on your soapbox and go off for us.
Okay.
I think Adrian Beltre could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So that was something that was interesting to me about this year. And then I think this is Todd Helton's year. He was very close behind Scott Rowland getting voted in last year. Only needs those last few percentage points, I think. So I think this is the year for the Rockies, Todd Helton. Those are the two that were the most interesting and the ones that I'm watching out for. Go, Suzy.
Okay. So let me read off the list of all of the people on the Hall of Fame ballot this season. Bobby Abreu, Jose Bautista, Carlos Beltran, and Adrian Beltre, Mark Burley, Bartolo Colon, Adrian Gonzalez, Todd Helton, Matt Holliday, Torrey Hunter, Andrew Jones, Victor Martinez, Joe Mauer, Andy Pettit, Brandon Phillips, Manny Ramirez, Jose Reyes, Alex Rodriguez, Francisco Rodriguez, Jimmy Rollins, Gary Sheffield, James Schildt, Chase Utley, Omar Vizquel, Billy Wagner, David Wright. Now, most of you guys know if you've listened to Bourbon and Baseball at all, you know that there's a before baseball Suzy and an after baseball Suzy. Before baseball Suzy is like basically anything before 2018. A lot of these players obviously played before 2018, guys. Okay, so I really only have very strong feelings about one of these brilliant, brilliant motherfuckers. Billy Wagner! Why? Why? BBWA, what the fuck are we doing? Why is Billy Wagner not in the Hall of Fame yet? What are y'all doing? Is it I asked this question on my Twitter and Billy Wagner retweeted my tweet. And so now we are close personal friends. Can't tell me shit because he retweeted my tweet and he liked another post of mine. So me and Billy Wags like this.
I love
I
that for you.
I now have to campaign. I mean,
So
like,
it's now your full-time job to
yeah.
campaign for him to
I
get
mean, I
into.
was going to anyways, but now it's like even more so. But also, I asked this on Twitter and literally asked, like, why has Billy Wagner gotten in? And is it because he wasn't on a team for long enough? Was it because he's a reliever? And the overall answer that I got was that he was a reliever and that he wasn't on like one of the big quote unquote teams. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And we looked it up on our first show that we did that never got aired because StreamYard fucking hates us. But he was on the Astros for a long time, the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies. So Mets social media admin, where the fuck are you? I need you to get on your high horse. I need you to like start advocating and start campaigning for Billy Wagner because let me read you as I type, let me read you Billy Wagner's career fucking stats. These are insane, y'all. Fucking insane. Like 422 saves as a closer with an ERA of 2.31. What? 1,196 strikeouts. Now, I know this is not a math pod and I'm not that Asian, but I feel like that's a lot of fucking strikeout, guys. A lot.
For a
Six,
reliever,
yeah,
especially.
16 seasons. Like, so, Mets admin, Phillies admin, he was with the Phillies for 2 years. I need y'all to get on your social admin, like, horse and get it and start campaigning. So, from last season to this season, he got, I wanna say, like, 51% to 68%.
Mm.
This is his 9th year on the ballot.
Alright, this is it.
Okay, like, if he doesn't get it now, like, 10th year. Listen, Kelsey's cat also campaigning for Billy
Loud crowd.
Wags. Okay?
Billy!
Like, vote Billy in. Vote Billy in. Bring this cat. I wanna see this cat, like, that's, like, screaming.
He's first of all, he's not even close to me. This is how
Oh
loud
my
he is. Like,
that's so funny.
he's not he's also over 20 pounds. So,
Oh my is it
I
a
don't
Maine Coon? Or is
he
he just fat?
probably I mean, he probably is some kind of a Maine Coon. He's a shelter cat, so who knows, but he's a really big dude. Yeah.
That's funny. Listen, okay, like, Kelsey's cat needs BBWA to, like, get with the program,
Message is
okay?
clear. Loud and clear.
Alright, get with the program and vote Billy Wags in. Like, I don't have very strong feelings on basically anybody else except for Billy Wagner. Is
I
that
fully
bias?
support that. I think the way that sometimes the thing that makes the difference of guys getting into the Hall of Fame or not is how the game evolves and then allows their career to be put in perspective, and I feel like surely, like, compare his career to some current day relievers and, like, put that perspective on it and get in the hell in the Hall of Fame.
I need Billy Wags in the Hall of Fame. His kid, Will Wagner, in our system now.
Love it.
Like, I need this Cinderella story to be complete. Like, and I'm actually really kinda sad that he ended his career in Atlanta and not with the Astros, but that's okay. That's okay. Um, I think I think that's it. Do we have anything else that we need to go over,
Ooh.
Kels?
Well, we had a lot to catch up on, but
Yeah.
fortunately, it'll probably be less than a week from now until we're back with you all again, so we'll be back at it, and the winter meetings are just around the corner, so keep that
Ho
mic hot for Cashman.
Hopefully it doesn't end up shitty again. Wash your hands, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Like,
Good point. Yeah, bring your
wash
Purell
wash
owners
your
into
hands
the
after you go to the bathroom. I don't know why that has to be said. Like, what are y'all doing over there? Good
you
night.
gotta remind rich white men of a lot of things the rest of us don't need to be reminded of, so maybe that's it.
It's true. It's true, Kels. It's very true. So, with that, we are going to say goodnight. But before we do, go give us a 5-star rating. 5 stars. Anything less is a felony. And if you know that, if you know that reference, you can listen to this show. There's gonna be people that'll be like, "What the fuck is that, Suzy?" Um, Drop us a 5-star rating. If you feel the need, please give us a written review. We would love that. Drop a follow on YouTube. Go follow Kelsey. Go follow Kelsey's podcast, Peace, Love, and Baseball. We would love that as well. And with that, we are going to end the show and say goodnight. And yay, baseball.
Yay, baseball!
I'm going to end the stream now. Okay.
I feel like I had